First, he grabs a stack of papers from the desk and throws them at the judge. As papers fly everywhere, two court clerks rush away from the commotion.
I didn't do anything wrong, man.
Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying. Well, I worry about me, you worry about your self.
Starting the convict explosions with a man who might have no heart. He caused the loss of 3 precious lives, and even threatened the judges and attorneys related to the case. Bryce Rhodes. In 2016, Bryce Rhodes was charged with multiple crimes, including the murder of 3 people. Rhodes was accused of killing 40-year-old Christopher Jones, and then murdering 14-year-old Larry Ordway and 16-year-old Maurice Gordon, 2 brothers who witnessed the Jones murder. Rhodes brutally stabbed and beat the brothers, later burning their bodies to hide the evidence. Rhodes' behavior in court was shocking, and his trials have been filled with outbursts and disruptions. In one trial, he argued with Judge Charlene Cunningham, demanding that his attorney be removed. Rhodes had already gone through 2 lawyers and was asking for his 3rd attorney to be taken off the case. He asked the judge if he's having some personal issues with him. The judge explained that finding a new lawyer for him was difficult, and he doesn't have anything personal against him. Rhodes responded with threats. This exchange upset the grandmother of Larry Ordway and Maurice Gordon, who expressed her frustration over how long this case was dragging on.
Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying. Well, I worry about me, you worry about your self. I'll just ask you, why do you keep refusing to get this man off my case when we keep having problems? Do you have something personal against me to where you don't want to remove him?
No, sir. I have something personal against not providing you effective assistance of counsel. They had struggled to find someone who could represent you, and that basically Mr. Griffiths is what they've got.
I write the Bar Social and the ACLU, you know. I write them, you know. I see what's going on, you know.
Fair enough. Let's get us a date to come back.
No. You're gonna find out, though. You're gonna find out real quick.
This is going on for 4 years, and nothing's been done.
She later apologized.
The judge he like he said, he wants everything dotted. He wants to do it everything's done the right way, regardless of what Mr. Bryce Rhodes is saying in there.
But she remains frustrated.
He's just playing the system. He's playing them.
Rhodes often showed strange and disrespectful behavior during the hearings. In one trial, he smiled and talked back to the judge, leading the judge to ask him why he was smiling.
Situation on the wall where I'm supposed to weigh the pros and the cons. Ma'am,
Look at me.
Ma'am!
He keeps turning.
Ma'am, I told you once before, let me please help you understand. You can't just talk out like that, okay? If you can't handle him looking at you respectfully, all I can tell you to do is don't be in my courtroom, because he's going to keep doing it, particularly now that he knows that it irritates you. So you either are able to control yourself or you're not. And I would understand why you could not. I get that completely. But I can't have you talking up in court, okay? I need you to hear this. The next time it happens, there will be a consequence. Do you understand that?
Yes,
All right, Mr. Rhodes, you're smiling. I don't know why you're smiling.
Because I can.
Well,
Because I can. It's not a crime to smell.
it's not a crime to
Continue
smile,
what you were saying.
but it doesn't help you, all right, to irritate people.
All right.
And you have a lot at stake in this case.
It's not a crime to smell, is it?
I didn't say you were committing a
Okay
crime.
then.
I'm saying you're
Continue
not
what you were
helping
saying.
yourself.
Continue what you were saying.
I'm
I'm allowed
done.
to smell.
I would suggest you do what helps
Okay.
you, not what hurts you.
Okay.
That's
Do what I
all.
want to do.
Well,
Let's
do
get
what
that
you want to
understood.
do. That's fine.
Let's get that understood.
I'm sorry.
Let's get that understood.
Well, you've made
All
that
right.
abundantly
Continue what you
clear.
were saying about the motions.
Okay.
All right.
I'm saying I want to have a hearing on it, and we'll be happy to give you a date when we can come back and talk about that. Is there work we need to do to be ready for that hearing, or we basically have what work needs to be done?
Judge, we haven't received their motion.
But we
yet,
haven't,
so-
we haven't filed the petition yet. Judge, we wanted to have a date from Your Honor. We have some exhibits, some of them may be lengthy, so we're trying to get all that.
Another witness, Taylor, was called to testify during one of the trials. At first, Taylor didn't want to talk and refused to answer questions. After some pressure from the judge, Taylor finally spoke up.
Did you know Bryce Rhodes? You must answer the question. But simply not answering will result in me holding you in contempt of court and putting you in jail likely.
He was saying we can't mess with them no more. We gotta get them back for telling them.
However, on May 21st, he says the brothers were hanging out. While there, Taylor and Gordon got into a heated argument, then Rhodes got involved.
He said, I want you to violate him. I was scared, so I'm like, what you mean? He said, I want you to punch him in his chest. And if you hit him in his face, I'm gonna hit you. He had me punching him. He said, stop. Or something like that.
That's when Taylor says Rhodes tied up the teen brothers, stabbed them several times, and made the others do the same. Taylor says after Rhodes left with the bodies, Taylor and Carter were left to clean up.
You know, so we just as guilty as we there. Couldn't do nothing, though. I mean, I was scared. I was scared. I don't know. I just know I couldn't really save him.
Taylor went on to admit he told officers a different story in 2016, which defense attorneys mentioned in their cross, but again he said he was scared.
Rhodes continued to cause trouble during his trials. He spit on one of the defense attorneys, Brendan McLeod, who later withdrew from the case.
Nice cheap shot. You a coward. Nice cheap shot. You a coward.
I'll see you when I get out. McLeod says he isn't afraid of the threat. McLeod took on the case because he knows Rhodes' mother. He stepped away because he learned the victims, 14-year-old Larry Ordway and his brother, 16-year-old Maurice Gordon, are the grandchildren of his close friend.
In the end, Rhodes' efforts to delay or disrupt his trials didn't stop the legal process. On April 21, 2023, a judge ruled that Rhodes was mentally competent to stand trial, despite his claims of being unfit. A trial date was set for December 11, 2023. Despite his outrageous behavior, the court pushed forward.
Verdict Form 1A, murder as to Christopher Jones. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of murder. Having found the defendant guilty of murder, we found that the murder was intentional. Verdict Form 2A, murder as to Maurice Gordon. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of murder. Having found the defendant guilty of murder, we found that the murder was intentional. Verdict Form 3A, murder as to Larry Ordway. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of murder. Having found the defendant guilty of murder, we found that the murder was intentional.
Rhodes was found guilty of murdering Christopher Jones, Larry Ordway, and Maurice Gordon. The jury also found him guilty of tampering with evidence and abusing the bodies of the two brothers. After just a few hours of deliberation, Rhodes was convicted, and he now faces life in prison for his crimes. If the Bryce Rhodes case shocked you, the story of Eric Penland might leave you even more stunned. This case involves a father who committed terrible abuse against his own infant son, causing permanent disabilities. What makes it even more heartbreaking is the father's reaction in court. Eric Penland. Eric Penland was found guilty of violently shaking his infant son, leaving the child blind and permanently disabled. The abuse took place when the baby was just 3 months old, and as a result of Penland's actions, the child now suffers from severe brain damage, a broken neck, and is nearly blind in both eyes. The boy cannot hold his head up and requires constant care for the rest of his life. At his sentencing, Pendland maintained his innocence despite the overwhelming evidence. He insisted that he had been falsely accused and wrongfully convicted. Pendland's defense also claimed that the baby may have had a seizure, but the medical team ruled out other possible causes for the injuries. After hearing the maximum sentence of 11 years in prison, Pendland bowed his head, shook it in disbelief, and then shouted angrily that he didn't do anything wrong.
I've been falsely accused. I've been wrongfully convicted, man. I didn't do anything wrong, man.
His final outburst shocked the courtroom. The prosecutor, Jennifer McLaughlin, emphasized to the court that throughout the entire trial, Pendland showed no remorse from the harm he inflicted on the child. The judge informed Pendland that the jury disagreed with his claims of innocence, and the sentence was handed down. The next case involves a violent felon who didn't even appear in person for his final sentencing. Shawn Riker. Shawn Riker, a convicted felon, faced a pre-sentencing hearing in a Wisconsin courtroom after being charged with numerous violent crimes, including sexual assault, child abuse, and reckless endangerment. These new charges added to an already troubling past, as Riker had previously served 12 years in federal prison for detonating pipe bombs in Utah. His bombings targeted various locations, including a store, an auto dealership, and even an elementary school. He pleaded guilty to 5 counts of using explosive devices and was ordered to pay over $104,000 in restitution. He was also required to participate in drug and alcohol rehabilitation as part of his sentence. Riker's courtroom behavior was nothing short of disturbing.
The idea of her? Huh? You got me looking like a clown? Stupid
Riker did not appear in person for his sentencing, but instead participated via video conference. Despite his absence, the court sentenced him to 200 years in prison. If you thought Shawn Riker's case was intense, the next courtroom scene takes things even further, moving from just threats to a full-blown physical outburst. Sidney Newsom appeared before Southern District Judge Aubrey Rimes in Pike County Justice Court, Mississippi, facing a domestic violence charge. Initially, Newsom seemed calm, even doing a little dance while waiting for the proceedings. But things quickly escalated when a transport officer tapped on the table, which seemed to agitate him. As his mother and brother entered the courtroom, Newsom briefly stepped towards them, only to be mentioned back in line by the officer. After signing some paperwork, Newsom's mood shifted dramatically. He started arguing with the judge, and when the officer tried to direct him out of the courtroom, Newsom lost control. He grabbed a stack of papers from the desk and hurled them at the judge, causing papers to scatter across the room. As the situation spiraled out of control, 2 court clerks quickly moved away from the chaos, while Newsom's mother reacted in shock. The transport officer attempted to subdue him, but Newsom managed to overpower her. In a further act of defiance, he grabbed a telephone and threw it at the judge, toppling a computer monitor in the process. Judge Rimes, who had seen enough, stepped in to take matters into his own hands. As more papers were thrown, the judge pinned Newsom to the desk. Newsom's brother got involved, though it wasn't clear if he was helping the judge or trying to assist his brother. Eventually, 4 additional officers rushed in, and Newsom was finally escorted out of the courtroom. Despite the chaos, the court quickly returned to order. Judge Rimes resumed business, and while Newsom's brother was not charged, Sidney Newsom faced an additional charge of contempt of court and spent 48 hours in jail. If that last case shocked you, you won't believe what happens next. This one goes beyond just courtroom threats. It's another full-blown attack. Antonio Rosales. Antonio Rosales, a man facing serious charges for assaulting and killing a 16-year-old girl, was on trial in a Florida courtroom. As the prosecutor, Anna Valentini, tore apart his defense, Rosales completely lost control. In a fit of rage, he grabbed a computer keyboard and smashed a monitor right off the table. The prosecutor ran to safety as chaos erupted. Officers quickly moved in, trying to restrain Rosales, but he fought back, struggling against them. It wasn't until a deputy arrived that they were finally able to handcuff him and haul him out of the courtroom. Despite the outburst, the trial continued, and Rosales was convicted of his horrific crime.
Okay, that door will be open. I need a take your badge to go. I can't open that door.
Rosales' explosive behavior in court matched the cold-hearted cruelty of his crimes. In the end, he was sentenced to 3 life terms. His actions show just how dangerous he truly is, and how important it is to maintain control in a courtroom. If you were shocked by these explosive moments, let us know in the comments which one blew your mind the most. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping content, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.